Trisha Yearwood is in Hampshire, England, tracing the roots of her immigrant ancestor, Samuel Winslet. She has just discovered an entry for a burial in the parish records.
Okay, so this is burials from Easter 1753 to Easter of 1754. Mary, the wife of John. Okay, so this was John's wife.
Yes.
On May 3rd. So Samuel would have been 7, 8 years old when his mother died.
Yeah.
Wow. So now we have these children and no mother.
Yes, that's right. But I did continue searching the burial register, and I've marked something that we'll find interesting.
This is another burial record, and this is John Winslet, Sr., April 3rd, 1759.
That's correct.
So Samuel would have been about 14.
Yes, that's
and
right.
So now we have small children with no parents.
Correct.
Learning that Samuel became an orphan at the age of about 14 after the death of his mother in 1753 and his father in 1759 is really tragic, and it really leaves me wanting to find out what became of Samuel and his siblings. So what happens to the children?
I've looked in the index, and there are no other for Winslets, so we assume that they've moved out of the parish. And the difficulty in a county record office is that once they do that, we lose them. We need
Can
to
we find them?
We need to search another county.
Okay.
So we've got the county of Surrey and Sussex that are close by. We could search their online records, and if we found any evidence of the Winslets, we could follow that lead.
Okay, let's start there.
We'll search the online catalogue of the West Sussex Record Office.
Okay.
Type in the surname Winslet.
Okay. And then search. One result is returned. Shillingly, 329. Action in the King's Bench concerning deer stealing at Shillingly. Bundle of documents relating to the killing, wounding, and felonious removal of several fat bucks from one of Lord Winterton's paddocks on the Shillingly estate by William Bristow and Samuel, James, and John Winslet. Awesome. Okay, so the three brothers are thieves. This is basically what I just learned, right? So I think we can pretty much rule out that I'm gonna find out that I'm royalty, because I'm thinking.
I think you're right.
Okay, fine.
Right, so...
This is more interesting anyway, right?
Well, this is really interesting.
Yeah.
And Shillingly exists today.
It does.
The estate still stands. So what I could do is I could call a colleague of mine, and she can pull the records and meet you at Shillingly.
Oh, really? Yeah. Wonderful. You know, I never know what I'm going to find, and this is really intriguing. So I'm interested to find out about these brothers.
It's the joy of family history.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Les.
It's my pleasure.
Very appreciative. I have so much information in my head that I don't even know where to start. You know, I was an adult when I lost both my parents, and it was still really devastating. And I'm a different person today because of losing them. But I was already, you know, married and, you know, had my own life and my own career and settled. And I can only imagine if you were 7 or 8 years old when your mother dies, and then a few years later your father dies and you're a 14-year-old boy, that you haven't really shaped even who you are yet. So you have to grow up fast and to do whatever you have to do to survive. So I can only imagine what it must have been like for him and his family. So I'm off to Shillingly, which is in West Sussex County. I want to find out the details behind the deer stealing incident that Samuel was accused of, so I'm meeting with historian Emma Griffin. Very nice to meet you. Emma pulled the records related to Samuel's involvement and asked me to meet her at the Shillingly Deer Tower. Well, I'm excited about what you brought for me today. I've been waiting to read about this and see what's next.
Well, Trisha, you already know that there's something to do with deer stealing.
Yes.
And we're actually here at the very centre of where this case is supposed to have taken place. This room that we're in is actually a converted deer tower. So this would have been the centre of Lord Winterton's hunting seat. The land all around us that you can see would have been where his deer are kept.
Okay, well, I can't wait to find out what you have found out.
OK, well, we've got a fantastic selection of documents from the Sussex Record Office.
Great.
And you can have a look at them.
OK. Shillingly, Lord Winterton's property. Deer stealing at Shillingly. So this is what my
Yes.
Winslet relatives were up
Yes.
to. Wow, these are so incredible. This is Whitehall, June 18th, 1765. Samuel would have been about 19 years old. Whereas it has been humbly represented to the king that in the night of Saturday, the 25th day of May last, the pales of the paddock of the Right Honorable Lord Winterton at Shillingly in the county of Sussex were broke down and 2 brace and a half of fat bucks killed. And what is 2 brace?
Brace is a pair of ducks, so 2 brace and a half is 5 bucks.
Okay, so 5 deer. And feloniously taken away, and another wounded and left behind. His Majesty, for the better discovering and bringing to justice the persons concerned wherein, is hereby pleased to promise his most gracious pardon to any of them who shall discover his, her, or their accomplice or accomplices, so that he, she, or they may be apprehended and convicted thereof. And as a farther encouragement, the said Lord Winterton does hereby promise a reward of 30 guineas to be paid upon his, her, or their conviction. And this is signed by Winterton. So this is a serious crime against this estate.
It's a big crime,
I mean, that's what I'm
isn't
getting
it?
from this letter.
It is. And you can tell that Lord Winterton is taking it very seriously. A 30 guineas reward, that's a year's wages for a labourer. It's a large reward that he's offering. A pardon to anybody who comes forward. He wants to catch these people, he really does.
But his response is very much, I'm coming after you. And to offer 30 guineas is to say, I'm offering a fortune, but just because it's worth more to me just to have you apprehended than, I mean, that's got to be, I mean, I don't know what the deer are worth, but they're probably not worth a year's salary.
I think that's right. I think what we see here, everybody's in a game where the stakes are higher, really, than they ought to be, aren't they?
Today, if you killed a deer on someone else's property and took it, you would be in trouble, but it wouldn't be
Absolutely. I mean,
something like this.
Part of what's going on here is the deer has much greater kind of significance and a symbolic importance in Britain at this time. You can't go to a market stall and buy venison. Only great landowners like Lord Winterton will have enough land to rear and slaughter deer. So we're in 1765. Deer is protected in Britain under the Black Acts. The Black Acts are a set of laws that are introduced to protect the property of the very landed, wealthy elite who sit in Parliament.
Hard times in England in the 1700s led to a spike in crimes committed by impoverished citizens like Samuel Winslet. The monarchy instituted a crackdown with new laws, including the Black Act, that made over 200 minor offenses, such as poaching, punishable by death. The act was considered inhumane by many because it severely punished the poorest in society to protect the property of an elite few.
There's no police force, so these landowners have no hope of preventing people from doing this crime because somebody will catch them before they do it. So instead you have a ridiculously draconian law, if you will, so that people will be deterred from doing it. It's a deterrence. Parliament takes deer stealing more seriously than almost anything else that you can do wrong at this time, and that's exactly what he's been accused of.
Sure.
The death penalty, if he's found guilty, the penalty is the death penalty.
You know, it just becomes more serious by the letter.
It is becoming more serious, isn't it, with every document?
Yes.
Shall we move on to our second document?
I guess so. I'm nervous, but...